Out. Okay, cool. All right. Hello, everybody. I am Jordan, co-founder with the Ontario Black Doula Society, and I'm here with Gab and Althea, and we're going to get into a brief convo today about life, okay? About life. Gab, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Gab. I'm the co-founder of Ontario Black Doula. Yeah, I'm just really excited and honored to be in space with these leaders that we're discussing um, life and the business and the journey and what doing care work looks like here in Ontario as a community. I'll
Mhm.
pass it over to Althea. Introduce yourself.
Hi, thanks for having me here. It's great to reconnect with you folks and speak. My name is Althea Jones. I'm a registered midwife. I'm the founder, executive director, and midwife at Ancestral Hands Midwives, which is a new extended midwifery care model program. And I'm also the president-elect of the Association of Ontario Midwives. So thanks for having me.
Woo! Congratulations. I think like that to me is such a big deal. And I just want to start right there. Um, Althea, I've been watching you for years now since I got into the game. Like I think the year that like I got into this work, you had just started Ancestral Hand Midwives. Actually, you had sent out a survey asking community, what should this name be? And I just remember thinking like, okay, yeah, she's really gang, like she's really about this community lifestyle and like how do we do things in a way that's collaborative and connected. And so would you like to talk a little or what has made you most proud about the last few years of doing this work?
Yeah, I'm super proud and excited that the program was finally accepted by the Ministry of Health as a clinical program. So I'm really excited to get that work going. But I'm also really proud of what we did at the grassroots level. I mean, just getting grants and just doing initiative by initiative, really just off of those grant fundings and from volunteer work. But we were able to create the Birthing While Black online prenatal class, which is a fantastic resource for the community that people can access for free. So I'm super proud of that, just that grind and being able to figure it out and connecting with community and asking what people need and
Hmm.
helping us formulate what this program can be, and now taking that next step of actually having kind of some sustainability with Ministry of Health funding and really being able to move into clinical care.
Hmm. What about grateful? Like, what are you most grateful about having survived the last 4 or 5 years?
I'm really grateful for the community that I've sort of found. Kind of initially when I was in midwifery, I was a bit of a lone wolf and where I was just go in, get the work done and get out. I didn't really feel that connection. But through doing this work, I've been able to connect with folks like yourselves and organizations that are really like-minded and kind of share our mission and values. And I've also been able to connect with other Black midwives, which I hadn't really done in the same way before. And I'm just finding that sense of community and that Black maternal health community here in Canada, specifically Ontario, is starting to grow, and I love that.
Mhm. I just wanted to I'm sorry, Grace and Space. You go ahead, Gab, with the next question.
Yeah, I think I'm just taking it all in because
Mhm.
there has been such a expansion of the community and the visibility and the representation that we have been advocating for years at this point. So it's really beautiful to see all these things come to head, and to have them led by community. I'm curious, Althea, what are things that you're looking forward to in the next year? You're navigating all these roles, we're starting to really pick up. What's something that's really exciting you about the future?
I'm excited about increasing access for our community to midwifery care. So while I was practicing, I just found like our clientele doesn't match the demographics of where we are. Like I was really thinking, where are the Black folks? Why aren't they here? And why aren't they coming for this care? Because we hear about this Black maternal health crisis. I think midwifery care can be part of that solution. And I'm like, so why aren't we here? Why aren't we getting this care? How do we not know about this? So I think that's getting this clinical program up and running is really something that I am looking forward to because for one, I know the impact it can make. And two, I think perhaps midwifery hasn't been done in this way that has been able to connect us to the community. So we're trying different things and we're not going to be perfect. Like it's going to take time. Just sitting there with my midwifery partner yesterday in the office, and we were thinking through care pathways, and we were just like, oh my goodness, this is complex. Like, how are we going to do this and how are we going to do that? And then I had to just stop and say, but we don't have to have it perfect before we start. We need to start doing the work and let it guide us. And so I'm just really excited about figuring that out and seeing how we can best serve the community.
Yeah, like really just we have to take this one step at a time. I find myself caught up on that as well. I'm just like, there's so much that needs to be done. How do we do this? And have to humble myself and come back and be like, okay, I'm just one person. We can only do what we can do one step at a time. I'm curious if you could speak to a little bit about um, what are the reasons that you think there was low intake of Black communities in midwifery care? Is it lack of education? Is it accessibility? What are those barriers?
Yeah, I think there's a variety of factors. I think maybe lack of representation is one. It's difficult when you don't see anybody that looks like you
Mm,
doing the thing, providing the care. It's difficult to feel like it's for you. It's like, oh, I don't belong here. This isn't for us. I think it's a lack of education and just a lack of knowledge about midwifery here in Ontario, how it works. Also, like there's a limited number of midwives and clients that midwives can take. And so if people don't know about it
mhm.
and don't apply for care, the second they find out they're pregnant, spots fill up. So I've seen a lot of people like, oh, I found your website. This is great. Can I get a midwife or can you help me? I'm due in a month or two. And then everyone's filled. I can't get them spots in care. So just not having that knowledge. And oftentimes that starts with their primary care provider, right? Like they're automatically kind of streamlined into that OB route and they don't even know that midwifery care is an option. So I think that's part of the problem as well. And then I think there are also some cultural issues around it and things to consider where for some communities back home, midwifery was, kind of the standard of care, and it was actually seen as a kind of higher level of care if you can get an obstetrician. And so when folks come to Canada as newcomers or have been here for a while, but sometimes they have that same thought that, oh, well, here I can get an OB and that's better. And so they don't go the route of midwifery. So I think there's just a lot of education that needs to happen. I think we need to take more time to educate primary care providers to make sure that they know what we do, and just increasing that visibility of the multiculturalism and Black midwives out there for people to know that this care is for everybody. And then really just speaking about the benefits, because I think there are a lot. And then just one last thing that I'll mention is that oftentimes folks are ineligible for midwifery care if they are high risk, right? And so we know that Black folks have a higher rate of chronic illnesses that would disqualify them from midwifery care in an earlier onset. So sometimes they're not eligible to have a midwife, but that's why with this program, we've partnered with an OB so that we can also provide that supportive care to high-risk clients and then continue on in the postpartum and care for both birther and baby. So like I said, I'm excited to get this work going because there are so many barriers to care. And I think there's just so much that we can learn about how we can increase access through doing this work.
And is the programming GTA focused?
Well, we're located in Scarborough, so we're in the
Okay.
Malvern area of Scarborough. So geographically, it is like just by nature of who can actually get in to come and see us and our catchment area of who we are able to go out and visit. And with just two midwives, right, we're limited. So some of our education things that are virtual, and we'll do those sessions. That really is open to anybody, but obviously in terms of geography, we're a bit limited as to those that can actually come to us and those that are close enough that we can get to them.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I was
Yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I'm just kind of like fangirling here too, right? Because like we just need so much. And I think to see anything, it's like an oasis in a desert, you know? So it's really exciting to see this. I was speaking with a midwife, Black midwife, and the numbers she quoted, she said there's like 1,000 midwives in, is it Ontario, Canada? Maybe it's Ontario,
Ontario, like 1,100 or so.
right? And about 30 Black midwives.
Here, yeah.
You're there. And so for you to be the president of the Ontario Midwives Association, um, talk a little bit about what that means. Like, what do you feel like in your body about that?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. I started doing some association work when I stopped clinically practicing to kind of figure out what else I'm going to do. How am I going to do this work? How am I going to be sustainable in this work?
Mm.
And so I joined the board because I definitely want to still stay connected to midwifery. And I kind of wanted to understand some of the barriers to change because there's lots of midwives with a lot of great ideas about how we can work and what we can do, but the legislation and there's like just a number of factors that kind of don't allow for that innovation and for things to move and change quickly. So part of my reason for joining the board was to try and figure that out. And so I've done a lot of learning there. And I actually didn't really think that I would step into the president role as we were kind of the current president is sort of wrapping up and talking to the board about, does anybody want to step up for this next? And I was essentially thinking, well, no, like I really want to focus on ancestral hands. And this is at a time when I didn't know if it was going to be approved or when it was going to be approved. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure when this program is going to actually happen in the way that I envision it. So
Right.
why not? It would be great to have another IBPOC leader for midwifery. And then also for myself and just having done some mentorship work with Black midwifery students, I honestly thought it's good for them to see me in this role so that they can see themselves in this role. Because as I was coming up as a midwife, I never thought I would be in roles like this. I didn't think it was for me. I was told it was more of a popularity contest, and I was just sitting in my corner doing my work. So I was like, no, I would never get voted into this position. But as I've just taken the time, and midwifery has been changing over the time that I have been a midwife, which I love. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll try it out. And then of course it's the perfect storm of like then I get elected as the president and also Ancestral Hands gets approved. And so everything's happening at once. But I think it's good. I think the two, even though it's different work, I think the two will support each other in that it gives me the learning that I will kind of bring into Ancestral Hands. And it gives me kind of a platform to talk about what we're doing there at Ancestral Hands. And then, like I said, it kind of shows those midwives coming up and those students that, this is possible and you can see yourselves in these type of positions.
Mm. It's huge. It's such a big, yeah, like it's such a big deal. It's literally Black history. Um, there's a common misconception that like, oh, I didn't get a midwife because I had a doula, or I didn't get a doula because I have a midwife. When the more accurate, contrast is a doula, sorry, a midwife versus an OB. So there's like a little bit of misconceptions about what doulas do, and how that relates to what midwives do. And I think it's dangerous. So how do you think that we as doulas can help midwives or support midwives in supporting our communities?
I think just really helping with that education, right? Like you said, clearing up those misconceptions and letting folks know that you can and should, if you're able to have both a midwife and a doula, and especially for our Black community that really needs that support and that advocacy that both bring, but in different ways, right? So I think just continuing to spread the message that this type of care is available, that having one doesn't exclude you from having the other, I think is such a valuable role.
And how have you been working with doulas in the, the formation of where things are with Ancestral Hands doulas? Or is it kind of just like a low-key relationship? Like how do we fit in the team, so to speak?
Well, I don't think it's low key at all. I spoke to you folks initially when I was kind of thinking of this proposal because I'm like, I want doulas to be involved. Like in an ideal world, every client that we're seeing would have a doula to support them, prenatally during the birth and postpartum. And especially right now, because the care that we're providing through Ancestral Hands is not going to include intrapartum care. It would be fantastic if all of our clients would be able to be paired with a doula. So I think you're integral in this work and in this program. And as I'm kind of in the grind of getting this thing up and running and, trying to lay that foundation, I'm also in the back of my head thinking of like, okay, what are other forms of funding so that we can make sure that we can support folks to be able to have doula support as well throughout this journey. So it's definitely top of mind, but I've really learned during this process that I have to walk before I run. So I think there is an important role to be played, and I'm really excited to continue collaboration and see where this can go from here.
Yeah, big on collaboration and big on the funding.
Big funding.
Big on the funding. So we spoke about like what you're looking forward to, what's exciting you. I'm curious to hear what concerns you might have as a midwife and leader as in this space, as the programming grows, as the nature of the field shift. Are there any concerns or worries that you're keeping in mind?
Well, one of the main worries is that as I'm doing this work and this Black maternal health community that I've connected with, I'm a little concerned that it's so few people, and those few people are wearing so many hats and doing so many things, and so it's like and being asked to do so many things. So I feel bad continuing to ask these same folks like, can you participate in this and can you participate in that? But like, we're the only ones, right? So we keep seeing each other in all these same circles because we're the ones that are there doing the work. And so, from a sustainability standpoint, that's concerning. And I do hope that it grows, and I do hope that we continue to build up our capacity and build up our allies that are willing to help and support in this work, because it can't just be us, and it really does need to move beyond the same, I don't know, 20 people that I keep seeing, because there's just so much to be done, right? So I think that's the main concern that I'm kind of feeling right now, and is in the back of my mind of, okay, how do we build capacity and how do we have sustainability?
Agreed.
You feel that in your soul.
Yeah, a word.
A word. Yeah, I mean, this is Black History Month, and I'm such a Black History Month fan, nerd, stan, all the things. And one of the other sisters in the game who I just have so much love and respect for is Dr. Oni Noram. She's not necessarily a birth worker, but she is a leader in this space who I think is making history. And one of the things that she always asks is like, what's bringing you joy in this season? So I want to close on joy in honor of her and to hear what's making you happy.
What's bringing me joy is
Yeah.
this community that has been built. Like I said, I traveled through midwifery sort of alone, had a couple of midwife friends, but really just kind of stayed in my lane, stuck to myself. But through building this program, I've created this network of Black midwives, and we've just kind of connected super informally, but it's kind of turned into more formal things where the association has also taken it on and is holding little gatherings for Black midwives specifically, sometimes in a virtual space, but sometimes we actually have met at a restaurant and, had lunch together. And that connection just brings me joy and fills my cup. Like I love when we're able to connect, and not just with the midwives, but like folks like you, when we went to the Black Women's Health Summit, things like that, just seeing all these powerful people together in one place, really focused on this work and talking about it, sharing resources and connecting. Like I love that. That's bringing me joy right now.
Me too. Me too. I love it. Um, well, thank you so much, Althea. Is there anything else that you wanted to kind of say that you want to leave folks with before we wrap?
Yeah, I just want folks to know that be patient. Ancestral Hands Midwives is coming. We got lots of people that have emailed, and I actually don't even know how they're finding us. So I love that word of mouth is happening. And like, is there a midwife available? And so I just want people to know that we're coming. I'm hoping by like the end of February we can start seeing clients. We're just laying the groundwork. So I'm just really excited to directly interact with clients, start providing that clinical care. So just keep an eye out, be patient, but stay tuned.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Althea.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and congratulations again. Um, and we'll talk soon, actually. We'll actually continue the conversation.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me, and for sharing, and for spreading the word, and for sharing the joy of what we have going on here.
Oh yeah, we have to. That's Black history.
Yeah.
All the time.
Mhm.
Let me stop recording.